And we already have a lot of reaction coming in. We're expecting to hear from the president at this hour as well, Jason.
That's right. Lots to pull apart right now, Chris. But first, the latest on this ruling from ABC's Justin Finch.
Real-time reaction to the High Court's decision overturning Roe v. Wade, striking down the constitutional right to abortion, leaving that decision for states to decide. Stepped-up security and barricades set up around the court complex where crowds gathered for the opinion. Abortion has been a constitutional right for nearly 5 decades, but with a 6-3 conservative majority on the court, abortion rights supporters have feared it would only be a matter of time before Roe v. Wade was overturned. According to a leaked Supreme Court draft opinion obtained by Politico in May and confirmed as authentic by Chief Justice John Roberts, a majority of justices voted to end federal protections for abortions and let states make their own abortion laws instead. Justice Samuel Alito writing for the majority in the draft, stating that Roe was wrongly decided. Abortion rights supporters immediately expressing alarm.
This morning, the radical Supreme Court is eviscerating Americans' rights and endangering their health and safety.
Thousands took to the streets to protest as soon as the leak happened, some even demonstrating outside the homes of conservative justices. 26 states are poised to quickly move to severely restrict access to abortion or ban it outright. 13 have already passed so-called trigger laws that would ban the procedure once Roe is struck down.
The goal of this is to protect the child, the unborn child.
And now a number of Democrat-led states are expanding abortion rights access, making it easier for women to travel to those states for the procedure. At the Supreme Court, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
So this decision coming down less than 2 hours ago, Chris, and there's lots to digest and put this together. So let's take a closer look at where the justices came down on this issue.
Yes, this was a 6-3 decision in the majority. Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett, the conservative judges. In the dissent, Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan. And Jason, we were kind of expecting this after the leak last month, and it seems that it really held true to form. There was speculation that whoever leaked it may have been trying to influence the justices, but it looks like whatever influence they were hoping to put upon the justice didn't happen.
At least not yet. But yeah, the leaked draft that came out in May last month, Chris, it looks a lot like, we are told, this 213-page decision that came down today about 9:10 this morning. Joining us now is University of North Texas political science professor, Dr. Kimmy King. Dr. King, it is good to see you again. We always appreciate you taking our call. First reaction to this here today. Everyone talked about 1973 being a landmark decision, but today is another one of those landmark decisions.
Yeah, it really is in so many ways, and it has far-reaching consequences because of the discussion that the court has about the role of stare decisis, and which is resolving how cases are decided and when some kind of precedent has been established. And so that's going to be one of the more significant legal issues that you're going to hear people talking about.
I have a number of other questions here, too. There's obviously a 6-3 supermajority. President Trump able to put 3 justices on the Supreme Court, giving justices on the right, obviously a supermajority here, able to decide what they want to decide. What else, if anything, do you expect that this supermajority of conservatives might take up next, if indeed the case rises to them?
So it's interesting because Thomas, in his concurring opinion, raises this issue about substantive due process, these kind of core rights that you have. And one of the things that the implications of the opinion today is that some of those... Reaction.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
You're good. I'm so sorry. The role that these the substantive due process has in terms of other rights, LGBTQ rights, the right to privacy even. The original decision on that was Griswold v. Connecticut, allowing married couples to get birth control. So the decision could potentially be far-reaching, although the court does have language in the majority opinion, which seems to indicate we're only looking at abortion now.
And the other thing that people have talked about for so long is how this might impact the November election. This is a huge day for conservatives, for evangelicals, for Republicans who have been trying to get this overturned since the early 1980s when the GOP really made this a key tenet of their party platform. But Democrats, of course, never thought this day would come. I'm curious, moving forward here, how do you expect this is going to impact the November election here in Texas, because the governor's race is a big one we're watching. So is the lieutenant governor's race. Is this going to demoralize the left or energize the right, or just the opposite?
I think it's going to do everything, but you have to remember that it's all swirling around in the context of the fact that earlier this week, the Supreme Court, made it easier to get guns. Today, made it harder, if not impossible, to get an abortion in a majority of the states, coupled with the fact that, we also have to remember the bottom line is that fundamentally people vote on the economy. And right now the economy is in the tank. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not Democrats vote with their pocketbook or whether they vote on more substantive rights like these.
Yeah, of course, inflation is likely to be the key thing. I do want to ask you one other question here too, though. Moving forward, the court overturning what was a landmark decision with this new landmark ruling that came out now, what do you expect this court to look like in the future, to feel like, and the public perception of the court as well? I'm curious what you think about that.
So I think you're going to continue to see this kind of furor around the justices. Remember that we had to put provisions in place to protect the justices at their homes. And you also have to remember that, moving forward, one of the concerns about the majority opinion is that it undermines this idea of a fundamental freedom. And what is a fundamental liberty right? Saying that when government wants to regulate some of these rights, like LGBTQ rights or, the abortion right, they need to only show a lower threshold for when they want to, I'll say, interfere with, for example, your privacy rights. And so that's going to be what you're going to have to watch for upcoming cases.
Yeah, and upcoming terms as well. Dr. King, we always appreciate your insight. Thank you for joining us.